What if someone was watching you, not to hurt you, but to judge you? Every mistake, every decision, every secret. Tonight's story will make you question everything. Welcome to The Silent Pattern. In a quiet town, a body was found. At first, it seemed like an isolated case, but soon a pattern began to emerge. A pattern that connected multiple states and a hidden truth. Let's uncover the mystery together. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you enjoy dark mysteries, real-style investigations, and psychological thrillers, you're in the right place. Tonight's story is one of the most disturbing cases you'll ever hear. So sit back, relax, and let's begin. Title: The Silent Pattern. Part 1. The First Body. The rain had been falling over Black Ridge County, Oregon, for 3 straight days. Not the soft, calming rain people romanticize, but a cold, relentless drizzle that seeped into everything. It soaked through jackets, crept into bones, and left the entire town smelling like wet soil and decay. Sheriff Daniel Hayes stood near the edge of the forest, staring down at the body. "Time of death?" he asked, voice low. "Forensics says somewhere between midnight and 2 a.m., replied Deputy Clara Monroe, flipping through her notebook. No signs of struggle, no witnesses, just this. The victim lay on her back, eyes open, staring blankly into the gray sky. A young woman, early 20s, blonde hair matted with mud. But that wasn't what made Hayes uneasy. It was the way she was positioned. Her arms were folded neatly across her chest, almost respectfully, like someone had taken care of her after death. And then there was the mark, a small carved symbol on her wrist. Clean, precise, not random, intentional. Hayes crouched down, examining it closely. "Same as the others?" he asked. Clara hesitated. "This is the first one in this county." Hayes didn't respond immediately, because he had seen that symbol before. A pattern across states. 3 months earlier, a similar body had been found in Idaho. 2 months before that, another in Montana. Different victims, different locations, no connection, except for one thing: the symbol. A curved line intersected by 3 smaller cuts, almost like a twisted version of a compass. The FBI had quietly opened a case, but hadn't gone public yet. No media panic. No headlines. They were waiting for confirmation. Now, standing in the cold Oregon rain, Hayes knew this wasn't the first, and it wouldn't be the last. Enter the FBI. 2 days later, a black SUV rolled into the sheriff's station. Agent Rebecca Cole stepped out. Sharp eyes, calm posture. The kind of person who didn't waste words. She introduced herself briefly. "FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit." Hayes nodded. "Figured you'd show up." Inside the station, they spread out photos across a large wooden table. 3 victims, now 4. Agent Cole pointed at the images. Different states, no personal connections, but the killer leaves them like this every time. "Clean," Hayes said. "Organized," Cole corrected. "This isn't impulsive. This is controlled." Clara leaned forward. "What about motive?" Cole didn't answer right away. Instead, she tapped the symbol. This is the key. The symbol. Back at the motel that night, Hayes couldn't sleep. The image of that symbol burned into his mind. He grabbed his old case files, flipped through them, page after page. Nothing. Then suddenly, he froze. A case from 12 years ago. A missing persons report. Disappeared without a trace. But in the corner of the file, a drawing. The same symbol. Hayes sat back, heart pounding. "This isn't new," he whispered. "The killer's mind." The next morning, Agent Cole gathered the team. "We're dealing with a highly organized serial offender," she began. "He plans his kills, chooses victims carefully, leaves no forensic evidence." Clara frowned. "Then why weave the symbol?" Cole smiled slightly. "Because he wants to be seen." Silence filled the room. "He's not just killing," Cole continued. He's sending a message. Hayes crossed his arms. To who? Cole looked directly at him. That's what we need to find out. Victimology. They built a profile of the victims. All female, aged 20 to 25, no criminal record, no obvious connection. But then Clara noticed something strange. Look at their jobs, she said. Each victim had worked in places involving public interaction. A waitress, a bookstore clerk, a hotel receptionist, a nurse assistant. Cole nodded slowly. He's watching them, she said. Choosing them, studying them. Hayes felt a chill run down his spine. This killer wasn't random. He was selective, patient, and getting more confident. The second body in Oregon. A week later, the call came in. Another body. Same county, same position, same symbol. But this time, there was something new. A note, folded neatly beside the victim's hand. Hayes opened it carefully. 3 words were written in clean, precise handwriting. You missed one. The past comes back. Hayes immediately pulled out the old case file. The missing girl from 12 years ago. Name, Emily Carter. He drove straight to her family home, an old house on the edge of town. Her mother answered the door. Tired eyes, years of grief. Carter, Hayes said gently, I need to ask you something. She nodded silently. He showed her the symbol. Her face went pale. I've seen that before, she whispered. Where? Hayes asked urgently. She pointed upstairs. In her room. The hidden clue. Emily's room had been left untouched for years. Dust covered everything. But on the wall, there it was. The symbol, drawn repeatedly, over and over again. Clara stepped closer. This isn't random, she said. Hayes shook his head. No, this is obsession. Agent Cole examined it carefully. Or fear, she added. The realization. Back at the station, everything started to connect. The missing girl, the symbol, the note, you missed one. Cole looked at Hayes. He's not just killing, she said. He's correcting something. Hayes frowned. Correcting what? Cole's voice dropped. A mistake. The hunt begins. The team expanded the investigation nationwide. More databases, more missing persons, more unsolved cases. And then, they found it. A pattern going back 15 years. Disappearing women. No bodies. No suspects. Just silence. Until now. The killer's signature. Cole summarized it. He abducts them quietly, holds them, studies them, then releases them as bodies. Clara swallowed hard. That's horrifying. Hayes stared at the board. But why now? He asked. Why start leaving bodies? Cole didn't hesitate, because something changed. The twist begins. Late that night, Hayes received a call. Private number. He answered cautiously. Sheriff Hayes. Silence. Then a voice. Calm. Cold. You're getting closer. Hayes froze. Who is this? A slight chuckle. You already know. The line went dead. The silent pattern. Part 2. The hidden connection. The call stayed in Sheriff Hayes' mind long after the line went dead. You're getting closer. It wasn't just what the voice said. It was how calm it sounded. No panic. No rush. Just quiet confidence. Like a man who knew exactly how this would end. Voice analysis. The next morning, Hayes rushed into the station. We got a call, he told Agent Cole. From him. Cole immediately stood up. Recorded? Hayes nodded. Line was monitored. Within minutes, the audio team began analyzing the call. Clara leaned against the desk. Can they trace it? Cole shook her head. If he's as careful as we think, probably not. Hours passed. Finally, the technician spoke. Burner phone. Routed through multiple towers. No fixed location. Hayes clenched his jaw. Anything useful? The technician hesitated. Yeah, actually. He played the audio again. This time slowed down. In the background, barely audible, a sound. a metallic clank, followed by a faint humming noise. Cole's eyes narrowed. Industrial, she said, like machinery. Geographic profiling. Using the victim locations, the FBI built a geographic profile. A map filled the wall, pins connected across multiple states. But when lines were drawn, they intersected. At one place, a region near the Oregon-Idaho border. Clara pointed at it. That's not a coincidence. That's his comfort zone. Hayes grabbed his jacket. Then that's where we start. The abandoned facility. The location led them to an old, abandoned logging mill, closed for over a decade, surrounded by dense forest. No nearby houses, no witnesses. Perfect. Hayes stepped out of the car slowly. Feels wrong, he muttered. Cole nodded. That's because it is. Inside, the air was thick with dust and rust. Old machines sat frozen in time. And then, Clara stopped. Wait. On the floor, fresh footprints. The first real clue. They followed the footprints deeper inside, to a locked metal door. Hayes forced it open. Inside, a room. Clean. Too clean. Bolted to the floor. Straps on the arms. Clara covered her mouth. Oh my God. Cole walked in slowly, observing everything. No blood, she said. No mess. Hayes looked around. But this is where he keeps them. On the wall, the symbol. Carved again. Over and over. The missing piece. Then they found something else. A photograph. Hidden behind a loose panel. Hayes pulled it out. His hands froze. It was Emily Carter. The girl who disappeared 12 years ago. But she wasn't alone. Standing beside her, a man, face partially cut out, deliberately removed. Personal becomes real. Back at the station, Hayes couldn't stop staring at the photo. Why her? Clara asked softly. Cole didn't answer immediately. Then she said, she wasn't the first. Hayes looked up. What? Cole opened another file. Emily Carter was connected to another missing case. She flipped the page. Her best friend, missing. 1 year before Emily. Hayes' chest tightened. This isn't random, he said. No, Cole agreed. This is personal. The killer's psychology. Cole gathered the team again. We're not dealing with a typical serial killer, she explained. This is someone driven by a past event. Something unresolved. Like revenge? Cole shook her head. Not revenge. Correction. A survivor appears. That night, a breakthrough came. A hospital in Idaho reported something unusual. A woman had been found wandering near a highway. Weak, disoriented, but alive. Hayes and Cole rushed there immediately. In the hospital room, the woman lay still, eyes wide, terrified. Cole approached gently. You're safe now, she said. The woman whispered something, barely audible. Hayes leaned closer. What did she say? Cole's face went pale. She said, he fixes them. The truth begins to surface. Over the next hours, the woman slowly spoke. Her name was Lisa Grant. She had been missing for 3 weeks. He watches, she whispered. He tests you. If you fail, you don't come back. Fail what? Lisa's eyes filled with tears. His rules. The rules. Lisa described it in fragments. The killer had a system, a twisted belief. He thinks some people are broken, she said, and he decides who deserves to live. Hayes clenched his fists. And the symbol? Lisa shook her head weakly. That means judgment. The shocking detail. Then Lisa said something that changed everything. He talked about a girl, she said. Emily. Hayes froze. What did he say? Lisa's voice shook. He said she was the first mistake. The connection to Hayes. Back at the station, Hayes sat alone. Emily Carter, he remembered the case, because he had been the deputy assigned to it. 12 years ago, he was the one who couldn't find her, the one who closed the case. Hayes whispered to himself, this is my fault. The killer calls again. The phone rang, same private number. Hayes answered immediately. You're making progress, the voice said. Hayes' voice turned cold. Where are you? A pause. Then, you had your chance 12 years ago. Hayes' heart pounded. You let her disappear. Silence. Then the final words. So now I finish what you started. The race against time. Cole immediately issued a nationwide alert. This isn't just about killing, she said. He's escalating. Clara looked at the board. How many victims do we have left? Cole answered quietly. As many as he thinks are unfinished. The final discovery of Part 2. Forensics re-examined the abandoned mill. This time, they found a hidden basement. Locked, sealed. Hayes opened it slowly. Inside, rows of files, dozens, each one with a name, a face, a life. Targets. At the top of the stack, one file stood out. Hayes picked it up. His hands shook, because the name on it was Clara Monroe. The Silent Pattern. Part 3. The Target. The room went completely silent. Hayes stared at the file in his hands. Clara Monroe. For a moment, no one spoke. Then, that's not funny, Clara said, her voice tight. But no one was laughing. Inside Clara's file, Hayes opened it slowly. Every page felt heavier than the last. Photos, schedules, personal details, even things Clara had never told anyone at the station. Cole stepped closer, scanning quickly. He's been watching you for a long time, she said. Clara's face went pale. Why me? Hayes flipped to the last page. There it was, the symbol, and beneath it, a handwritten note. Pending judgment. Immediate danger. Cole didn't hesitate. We move her now, she ordered. Within minutes, Clara was placed under protective custody. Unmarked vehicle, constant surveillance. But even then, it didn't feel safe. Because this killer didn't rush. He planned. And if Clara was already a target, then this had started long before they found the mill. Breaking the pattern. Back at the station, Cole paced in front of the evidence board. This changes things, she said. How? Hayes asked. He doesn't just choose random victims, she replied. He builds them into a system. Clara's file wasn't just observation. It was evaluation. Like she was part of a test. The survivor remembers more. Meanwhile, Lisa Grant's condition improved slightly. This time, she remembered more. He had recordings, she said weakly, of all of us. Cole leaned forward. Recordings of what? Lisa swallowed hard. Of our lives. The watching. Lisa described screens, multiple, each showing a different woman, different locations, different times. He watches for mistakes, she whispered. What kind of mistakes? Clara asked quietly. Lisa looked at her. Anything he thinks is wrong. The philosophy. Cole began piecing it together. He believes he's fixing people, she said. A self-appointed judge. Hayes shook his head. That's insane. Cole nodded. Yes, but to him, it's logic. A hidden detail in Clara's life. They dug deeper into Clara's past. Everything. School, family, old reports. Then, they found something. A case from years ago. Clara had been involved in a minor incident. A witness who gave the wrong statement. Because of that, a suspect had walked free. I was a trainee. I didn't know. Cole looked at her carefully. But he noticed. The killer's standard. To the killer, that wasn't a mistake. It was failure. And in his world, failures needed to be judged. The safe house. Clara was moved to a secure FBI safe house. Location classified. Armed guards. No outside contact. But Clara couldn't relax, because deep down, she knew something was wrong. He's still watching, she whispered. Part 38. The third body in Oregon. While Clara was hidden, another body was found. Same signature, same symbol, but this time, something different. The victim's hands were not folded, they were clenched, like she fought back. Cole studied the scene. "He's losing control," she said. Pressure builds. The FBI increased its efforts. More agents, more surveillance. But the killer stayed invisible, always one step ahead. Hayes slammed his fist on the table. "We're reacting," he said. "We need to think like him." Cole looked at him. "Then start with Emily Carter." The truth about Emily. They reopened the old case fully. This time, no assumptions, no shortcuts. And then they found it. A detail that had been ignored. Emily Carter had reported something before she disappeared. A man, watching her, following her. Hayes felt a chill. Why wasn't this investigated? Clara answered quietly. Because it wasn't taken seriously. The first failure. That was the moment. The beginning. The killer had watched Emily, tested her, judged her, and when she disappeared, no one stopped him. In his mind, that was proof that he was right. The killer's growth. Cole explained it clearly. He started with Emily. No one caught him, so he continued. Refined his process, perfected his system. And now, Hayes finished the sentence. He thinks he's unstoppable. The safe house breach. That night, the alarm went off. At Clara's safe house. Guards rushed inside. Doors locked automatically. Hayes got the call instantly. "What happened?" he demanded. The agent on the line sounded shaken. "We don't know. There's no sign of forced entry." Hayes' heart dropped. "Where's Clara?" Silence. Disappearance. The answer came seconds later. "She's gone." The message. Inside the safe house they found something. On the wall. Carved. Fresh. The symbol. And beneath it, a message. Now she understands. Hayes breaks. Hayes stood frozen. First Emily. Now Clara. Both taken. Both connected to him. Cole stepped beside him. "You can't lose control," she said. Hayes looked at her. "This is personal now." Cole nodded. It always was. The final lead of Part 3. Forensics analyzed the safe house again. This time, they found something microscopic. A trace. Industrial lubricant. Same as the abandoned mill, but newer. Fresh. Clara was still alive and nearby. The hunt intensifies. Cole turned to Hayes. "We're close." Hayes nodded slowly. "Then we end this." Part 4. The Judgment Room. The forest was silent. Too silent. Sheriff Hayes moved carefully through the trees, his boots crunching softly over damp leaves. Behind him, Agent Cole and a tactical FBI unit advanced in formation. They had a lead, a real one, and for the first time, they weren't chasing shadows. They were closing in. The second location. The industrial lubricant trace led them deeper into a restricted zone. An old, decommissioned water treatment facility about 15 miles from the abandoned mill. Hidden. Forgotten. Perfect. Cole studied the structure from a distance. "No lights," she said. "Doesn't mean he's not inside." Because by now, they understood one thing clearly. This killer didn't need light. He needed control. Inside the facility, the entry team breached the main door. Slow, silent, weapons raised. Inside, the same unnatural cleanliness. Dust everywhere, except for a single path. Fresh footprints. Hayes whispered, "He wants us to follow." Cole replied, "Then we follow carefully." Clara awakens. Elsewhere, Clara Monroe opened her eyes. Darkness, cold metal beneath her. Her hands strapped. Her legs secured. Her breathing quickened. "Hello?" she called weakly. No answer. Then, a soft click. A light flickered on, and he stepped forward. The killer revealed, almost. He wore no mask, but his face, still partially hidden in shadow. Calm, controlled, Ordinary. That was the most terrifying part. Clara's voice shook. Why me? He tilted his head slightly. You already know. The conversation. Back in the facility corridors, Hayes and Cole moved deeper. Room by room. Empty. Until they heard a voice, echoing faintly through the halls. A man speaking. They froze. He's close, Cole whispered. The killer's belief. Inside the room, the man spoke calmly to Clara. You made a mistake, he said. Clara's eyes filled with tears. I was young. I didn't know. That doesn't matter, he replied. Your mistake changed someone's life. He stepped closer, and no one corrected it. The system. Clara struggled against the restraints. You think killing people fixes anything? He didn't react. I don't kill without reason, he said quietly. I evaluate, I decide, and I correct. The final test. He placed something on the table beside her. A small device with a button. You have one chance, he said, to prove you deserve to live. Clara's voice trembled. How? He looked directly at her. Confess. Hayes gets closer. Following the voice, Hayes reached a reinforced door. Locked from the inside. He signaled the team. On 3. Clara's confession. Tears streamed down Clara's face. I made a mistake, she said. I gave the wrong statement. Someone went free because of me. Her voice broke. I live with that every day. The man watched her silently. No emotion. The twist. Then he asked, but do you regret it, or the consequences? Clara froze, because she didn't know how to answer. Part 60. Breach. 3, 2, 1. The door exploded inward. Hayes stormed in, gun raised. Don't move. Face to face. The man turned slowly, and for the first time, Hayes saw his face clearly and froze because he recognized him. The shocking identity. Mark Ellison, Hayes whispered, a former police officer from Hayes's own department years ago. Clara's eyes widened. You were a cop? Mark nodded slightly. I was. The origin. Mark looked at Hayes. You remember Emily Carter? He asked. Hayes's chest tightened. Yes. Mark's voice stayed calm. She came to the station. She said someone was following her. Hayes' mind raced. He remembered, but he hadn't taken it seriously. The first failure. Mark stepped closer. I told you we should investigate. You said there wasn't enough evidence. Hayes felt the weight of it crush him. I was wrong. Mark nodded. Yes, and she paid for it. The truth. Clara whispered. So you started killing because of that? Mark shook his head. No, I started correcting. The final confrontation. Hayes raised his gun. It ends now, Mark. Mark smiled faintly. It already ended. He glanced at Clara. She passed. Everyone froze. What? Cole asked. I don't kill everyone, he said. Only those who refuse to see their flaws. The last move. Suddenly, Mark reached into his pocket. Hayes shouted, "Don't!" But it was too late. A gunshot echoed. The silence. Mark collapsed to the ground. He had shot himself. Aftermath. Clara was rushed out. Alive. Shaking. But alive. Hayes stood over Mark's body. A mix of anger, guilt, and something worse. Understanding. The final twist. Days later, the case was closed. Officially. But Cole wasn't satisfied. Because in Mark's files, there was something disturbing. One last page. Unfinished. A new name. A new target. And beside it, the symbol. End of Part 4, main ending. The killer is dead, but the system he created may not be. If you enjoyed this story and want to see the next part, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The next chapter is coming soon.